Mapping Brand Strategy, Introduction to CD Maps, Niraj Dewar and Charan Baga. Marketers have always wanted to understand how brands and markets are represented in consumers' minds and how their brand is positioned relative to competing brands. Traditionally, marketers have turned to perceptual maps to represent dimensions of a marketplace. These are maps that combine two or more dimensions that consumers use to make choices among brands in a product category. Placing brands on these maps allows marketers to visualize their brand's relative position in the marketplace, plot strategy, and track brand positioning. There are many different ways of choosing the dimensions and mapping brand locations. The least sophisticated maps are based on the manager's intuition about criteria and how they are important to customers. The most sophisticated are based on statistical techniques, such as multidimensional scaling. But while traditional perceptual maps offer a useful visualization tool, they fall short from a business perspective. The position of the brands on the map says nothing about business outcomes, such as sales or prices that can be charged at various locations in the space. An even more basic problem is that dimensions of the perceptual map are often arbitrary or based on hunch, even when statistical techniques are used. Our methodology overcomes the shortcomings of traditional perceptual maps. The first article describing our methodology was published in the Harvard Business Review in June 2015. In this video, we provide a brief introduction to the methodology we call CD Maps. We begin with the premise that marketers have always had two goals for their brands: to make them as central as possible to their category in the customer's mind, and to make them stand out from other brands in the category. Coca-Cola is a brand that is central to the soda category. It defines the category. It is representative of the category, and other brands in the category live in a Coca-Cola-centric market. By contrast, Dr. Pepper is a distinctive brand in the category. It is differentiated from Coca-Cola and other brands and commands a loyal following. Centrality and distinctiveness are not just goals for brand strategists, they are also fundamental to how consumers think of marketplaces. So rather than map dimensions that are specific to each category, we use these two dimensions to map brands in every category. To illustrate, we did this for the passenger car market and the beer market in the United States. We conducted a national survey of consumers about their perceptions of how central and how distinctive each major brand in its category is to them. We plotted the brands on the centrality and distinctiveness dimensions to arrive at maps that look like this. Brands in the top right quadrants are both central and distinctive. We call these aspirational brands because they tend to be what both consumers and many marketers aspire to. In the passenger car market, brands such as BMW and Mercedes occupy this space. In the beer category, we find brands such as Heineken and Sam Adams in this space. Brands that are central but not terribly distinctive are brands that we label mainstream. In the passenger car market, these include Honda and Ford, and in the beer category, Miller and Busch. Brands that are neither central nor distinctive are peripheral and include brands such as Mitsubishi and Kia in passenger cars, and Old Milwaukee and Milwaukee's Best in beer. Brands that are distinctive but not very central are unconventional. These include brands such as Tesla and Mini in passenger cars, and Dos Equis and Stella in beer. The size of the bubble in this graph represents the unit sales of passenger cars under that brand in the U.S. market. Some interesting things to note are that brands exist and thrive in each of the four quadrants. In other words, there appear to be viable strategies and business models in each quadrant. We ran regression analyses to examine whether the position on the map is linked to performance. We looked at two different types of performance data: brand-level sales and brand-level average price. What we find in the passenger car and beer markets is that as brands move to the right, in other words, as brand centrality increases, sales increase, and as brands move up, or as their distinctiveness increases, prices increase. CD maps have several important strategic implications as well as marketing applications that we will examine in the second and third videos.